Lieutenant Governor Tim Griffin is a former congressman and U.S. attorney. He also worked in the Bush White House, and you may not know that he worked on a special counsel case involving Clinton Housing Secretary Henry Cisneros. He now joins us for, I hope, is a unique perspective on what's going on in Washington, D.C.
I'll do the best I can, my friend.
So President Trump describes everything that's happening with this special investigation, the special counsel, as a witch hunt. And those of us around politics have described them as witch hunts for years because you're going in and looking for anything. Are they witch hunts?
No, I mean, I think ultimately they're a search for the facts. I think in this particular case, with the appointment of Bob Mueller as special counsel, I think both Democrats and Republicans have confidence in him.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Yeah.
And I mean, I think he's a Marine, decorated Marine, federal prosecutor, FBI,
impeccable
director,
credentials,
impeccable.
Great reputation.
I mean, this guy, he's 70-something, so he's not trying. He's proven himself for decades. He's Republicans and Democrats are applauding.
But these investigations don't get started unless there's some smoke there. They typically find, even if it's a small fire, they find a fire. I mean, it's not that hard to find a T that doesn't get crossed or an I that doesn't get dotted. And do they? But
usually, usually I's not getting dotted and T's not getting crossed aren't the problem. That's not what causes problems. I would say in this case, it doesn't necessarily, based on what we know now, implicate any one person, although there's been a lot of news about Flynn. Because we only know what we know from public sources, right? We're not in these offices. So,
and fake news. We know what we know from the fake news, too.
That's not what you are, right?
Right.
You're not fake, because I would never go on a fake news show. I just want to be clear about that. But the point is, there's a lot we don't know. And a lot of this is just to get to the answers. Now,
so tell me what Bob Mueller will do now that he's installed as a
special
counsel.
He will be basically a U.S. attorney. He will be a chief federal prosecutor with one case. That's the big difference, okay? So we have U.S. attorneys spread out by districts all over the United States. They're the political appointees that, like in Arkansas, we have two. Eastern District, Western District.
And they got a big caseload.
He's sort of he's not called this technically, but he's sort of the U.S. attorney for the district of this matter, right? This matter, all the different things that involve, did the Russians influence the election? How did they do it? Who was involved? All that.
But he'll spend time putting a staff together. He'll spend time collecting documents. He'll spend time looking at what? He will have
FBI agents. He will have a separate office, so his stuff will be separate. It won't be next door to everybody else in the Department of Justice, right? He'll if it's anything like the old independent counsel law, he'll have a separate place. He'll have his prosecutors there. They will be assistant U.S. attorneys for the most part that he's brought in, that he's handpicked. He will have FBI agents there that are only working on that particular case. And that's the way that works.
So tell me, does this appointment of a special counsel, does this give some at least short-term relief to Congress and to the White House, which had been dealing with these developments here day in and day out for weeks?
Yeah, and a lot of people, a lot of my supporters and friends may say, well, how can this help Congress? Well, the way it helps Congress is they're able to say, look, there's a criminal investigation now that's being handled. It was a counterterrorism. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina indicated that it might now be going beyond counterterrorism to criminal. Whatever the investigation is, members of Congress are able to say, look, that's being handled by Mueller. We're going to do some stuff in the appropriate committees because people want to know what happened and members of Congress want to know. But for the most part, it allows members to go back to what I am most concerned about. I was telling somebody earlier today, I don't take an oath to a person. I take an oath to the Constitution. And what I am most concerned about are all the conservative things that I want passed. Tax reform, health care reform. immigration reform, transportation
This
infrastructure.
allows them to focus back on those things. Right.
Yeah, and technically they can focus on those anyway, but there's only so many hours in a day. I tell people, there's 24 hours in my day, there's 24 hours in your day. There's only so much energy in your daily battery that you recharge when you go to bed at night. And if you're spending your time concerned about all sorts of other matters, having meetings about other matters and whatever, you're not spending that time on lowering Americans' taxes, doing all the things that we want done.
Not when those pesky reporters are asking questions all the time about Russia.
That's right. Those fake news reporters. That's right.
I'm not. It's too early now, but you're going to make a prediction at some point in time, and you'll come back on this show and make that prediction, right?
You know, let's just see what.
Yes or
let's
no
see where
question.
the facts. I will come back. Let me just say this.
All right.
I'll come on this show anytime.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, Lieutenant Governor Tim Griffin, good stuff. Thanks for
you.
the insight. Good
Thank
to see
you, buddy.
you.
Appreciate you.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. We're back with more right after this.